The moment we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm saying it now, I am going to go back and I'm going to finish a literature degree. No matter what I already have a degree in, if I go back to college beforehand and get a degree in like kinesiology, if I get 10,000 subscribers on this channel, I'm going to sign back up for college and get a literature degree. I will change my channel name to the Literature Graduate, and that will happen if we are to reach 10K subscribers. I'm done hiding. I am done hiding my my new love for reading. When I started this channel, right? When I started, I was for real. You know, I didn't really care about what I was reading. I just thought, hey, this would be a funny idea, and it was funny. But now I'm actually starting to really enjoy this stuff, right? And it's crazy. It's kind of scaring me. But I'm not gonna do the dropout thing anymore. I'm just gonna nerd out. All right. I need a place where I can start to nerd out about this shit without reference. So that's what this is gonna be. We're changing our style, folks. We're changing. We're evolving. We're metamorphosizing. I have read, listened to, and basked in the glory that is epic poetry now for about like 2 sessions of what we're doing. I've done the classical ones, the Greek ones, and I've done I'm 90% through Le Morte d'Arthur, which will finish up our medieval epics. But honestly, we need to bring back epic poetry. We got to bring it back. One thing that I'm consciously aware of, and I'm always trying to temper a little bit with some of my videos, I thought bringing down the amount I was talking about each thing would make it easier for people that didn't know what I was talking about, but I'm realizing now it only made it more difficult. So I'm going to reorganize what my videos are, and I'm going to talk about more what they are. I'll just I could just go to the Wikipedia page. Like, I might start doing videos before I read something and then after I read something. Get 2 videos per book, per epic, per reading material, because one, I gotta let you guys know what it is I'm reading, and then I can do another video giving my thoughts on it, right? So I think Le Morte d'Arthur, which I'm gonna review probably when I get home from work here, is gonna be the last one where I just do a single video, right? Yeah, and that way I can be a lot more educational to you guys. You know, a little bit of a story time here. So I'm not Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I gave it a shot, you know. And I'm like, oh, I prayed to some sort of Catholic saint. I forgot what saint, but apparently there's like 100 of them. I thought there was 12. I might have to read the Apocrypha later. Anyways, story time. I prayed to this Catholic priest of decision making, and the decisions that they help you make is like either one option or the other option, and it tells you that decision by either a white rose or a red rose, like whichever one you're offered next. And first of all, I'm thinking, all right, I'm a guy, fat chance I'm going to be offered any type of rose in the next couple like months, maybe even my life, you know. My wife to be is pretty nice. She'll probably offer me something, but by that time it'll be years and I'll forget about this. But then, like 1 month later, I was offered a white rose. So and my options were, I was telling it, I'm like, hey, you know, I really want to either do teaching, because teaching is something everybody tells me I'm good at. All right. So I'm like, might as well pursue what you're already good at. I'm like, do I want to pursue teaching, or do I want to pursue like electrical work, like working with my hands and stuff? Like, what do I want? Because I was truly in between it, right? I was on a lifeguard ship, just like thinking about it. You know, bunch of old people in the pool. They got their floaties on, anyways. I let my mind wander. It's chill. It's chill. But then I went to a wedding expo, and I was offered a white rose. That's the whole point of the story. Is that I was offered a white rose. She literally. I'm like, oh, white roses on the table. That's bizarre. You know, usually they're red. And the lady at the stand, she just like picks it up directly towards me and is like, would you like a white rose? And I thought about the prayer, and I'm like, God dang. Guess I gotta be a teacher. And maybe I'm Catholic. I don't know. But the moment she offered it to me, I instantly remembered the prayer I did, and I'm like, oh crap. So I think I'm just gonna do teaching. And I thought about this, right? I've thought about being an English teacher before, right? You've heard me say a couple of times on this channel, like, what would I do if I was an English teacher regarding a certain text? But this time, I'm thinking, like, do I have to be an English teacher, or do I already have this avenue of this channel to use it as such? And I don't know. I don't know. like maybe if we get bigger, maybe if like this thing works out. But I don't know. I don't know. Also, am I Catholic? Does that make me Catholic? I don't know anything about Catholicism. I'm Protestant technically, Missouri sign. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So we are going to get more educational on here, as, you know, I feel like I'm commanded by the saints to do at this point. But whether I get an English degree later, but 10K I'll get a literature degree. Do you know how sick, cool, and like awesome epic poetry is? Like it really sit there and think about it, right? So many people are like writing novels. Yeah, no. Come closer. So many people are writing novels. Imagine a novel that just the whole thing rhymed. Imagine how cool that would flow. Imagine how much more dramatic that would make everything feel. That's epic poetry. Dude, I've been to Italy. I've been to Greece, right? You know what they would do? You would have someone, this is how they would perform. They would perform epic poetry by tapping a stick repeatedly on the ground. They'd go, and they'd say in their native Greek language, but they'd like recite like the entire Odyssey or something over multiple nights, and they'd memorize it. So they'd be like, there, and it had the rhythm. It had beats. It had something. Dude, imagine how cool ancient Greece was. Imagine just how cool that was for a moment. Going to an ancient Greek play. Everybody's wearing masks. Everyone is surrounding the stage. It is a 360 performance they're doing. While you have a narrator that is saying what they're doing while they're... And Odysseus went to Ithaca, and he finally came home. And he, like, imagine how much rhythm, imagine how much scale, imagine how much more gravitas that adds to whatever you're doing. Well, that's why we need to bring back epic poetry. Like, everything you try to do in, like, really good prose, right? In really good prose, is manipulating the language. Prose is like you're trying to take the language and you're trying to make it work for you to get it to do what you want. But then poetry, the moment you get to poetry, it's like this same thing you try to do with prose, but you have it flow. All right. I feel like I'm a Glover. I feel like dude, poetry is like being a Glover. And then prose is like being a martial artist, all right? You make the words work for you. And the poetry is you're working around the words. What am I saying? How happy I am to be born in a time where I can read and absorb everything I'm doing on this channel. How awesome that is. You know? Like, there's always been libraries, right? And there still is. And more people need to be using them. But the idea that I can just listen to these things on my phone while I drive, while I do this, while I do that, it's so liberating. And if you're not using these resources, if you're an adult and you are not using these resources to try and at least better your literacy in a small degree, then very personally, I don't know what you're doing, right? Libraries are free. Like, that's a free... You can go in, you can grab a book, you can take it home, and there you go. Also, if you don't have, like, CDs or movies you want to watch, they have those too now. like if you are not utilizing your library and your free resources to try to, because if you're a kid, right? I don't super blame you. I think the education crisis and the adult literacy crisis are really two different things. I don't have the time. I go to work. You go to work. Great. Do you have a phone? Because that's all I do. But this entire channel has been like listening to audiobooks while I drive. And I've done all this. I'm busy too, you know. And it's not that like there's not excuses. Like sure, and maybe you do have some barrier to entry, and I'm not disregarding that. I'm not disregarding that at all. But there are things you can probably do. You know, one of those things you can do to better your literacy is drop a like and subscribe to this channel, bro. When we get to 10K, I'm going back to college and getting my literature degree. All right, I'm grabbing that. I've already got my generals out of the way, so it might be like 2 years. That's still 2 years though. You know, like, that's pretty hefty. But we'll see. We'll see what we got to do. All right. Peace out, my homies. All right, go read something. Go to your library. Go read something. That's your task. That's your task. Read a chapter of something. That's all you got to do. Before tomorrow, read 5 pages of something. That's your goal. All right. Peace out.